Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and we've got a very cool unbox and review for you today. Thanks very much to entoyment.co.uk, our friendly local game store. We've got the Norse team, so we are going to open the box, see what's inside, build some dudes and dudettes and pigs, and check out some size comparisons. So inside the box you will get an instruction sheet. Actually, this is a very boring place to start, but it's actually quite important because you will kind of get to see how many pieces the models are in. Now when it comes to Blood Bowl, that can be quite a few pieces. So the Norse Raider Lineman, we'll look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces for that guy. And the Valkyrie is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces for the Valkyrie. Ulfwerener, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces for the Ulfwerener. The Berserker is a lowly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. The Boar is 3 pieces, and the rest of the linemen are around about the same. So as far as Blood Bowl kits come, this doesn't look too bad. Now we've got some detached hands. We've got some detached hands, some detached legs. So we've got an interesting mix. Now some of the Blood Bowl kits of late have been very complicated. This one looks to be about medium, but hey, we'll see how big a time I fail when it comes to actually building the models. So the kit has got all of your 32mm bases and 2 separate 25mm for the beer bores. So all 14 of your models come with bases. And then it does have a transfer sheet. And as ever with Blood Bowl, you've got the white bits and you've got the black bits. They're exactly the same. Got 1, 2, 3 different logos. You've got all the different numbers you need. You've got the positionals on the front there as well. So whether you're going for a light scheme or a dark scheme or however you base them, transfers are going to come in handy. And the cool thing is, and this is what I do love about these 3 different logos, you're going to be able to find a reason to use these transfers on something else. Maybe you've got an older team that doesn't have transfers. Maybe you've got another team that actually could use the dragons. I'm thinking a high elf team, something like that. Don't know. Really cool. I don't tend to use the transfers because I don't really tend to finish painting models because I am a terrible person. But it does come with them. So this is one of the sprues. I've got the camera a bit close because I want to get down and dirty with the detail here. There are so many pieces on this kit, and everything is numbered, which is wonderful. And I think for the first time we've got Bs on here, and what I mean by that is we've got 2B and 16B and stuff like that, which are normally the little roundels in the back of the model. So you see we've got a gap on this dude here, and I think if we work our way through to this guy, there's a hole in the back there as well, and you've got these little round bits here. Let me use my pen to point it out. This is 16B, and there is at least another couple of those. Interesting one. If you've built the dwarf kit, you'll know that that's a bit fiddly, but that's just how these kits come now. The important thing is there's no wings for boots. Looking at you here, the Undead team, and anybody who's just picked up Dungeon Ball will have had flashbacks to the Dark Elf. Every player. Yes, the thumb. No thumbs here, so this is quite cool. Now, this is Games Workshop. This is their plastic kits. Let's have a look at the detail. And as ever, the detail is crisp and beautiful. We've been looking at these models for a little while now. As in, we've seen the preview, we saw the pre-preview, we saw the almost here preview. So we've had a lot of opportunities to look at the Norse models. Now, this team has got 7 players on each sprue, including the little piggy boy. So there is an absolute ton stuck in here. Now there are alternative heads. In fact, the Boar has technically got 1 head and 2 alternative hats for it, which is quite cool. And the Ulfwerener's got 2 heads. The Valkyrie's got 2 faces and 2 hairstyles. You can kind of put it together. And the dude who's pointing can stand on a rock, can stand on a barrel, can hold a tankard, can point to the sky. There's actually quite a lot of customization in this team that I'm pretty impressed with. Now, you've also got the team marker, which is this very cool... Oh, I don't remember what it's called. The front to the boat that Vikings used. Cannot remember what it's called. I feel a bit bad, but I'm not too fussed because these models are great. Now, there's a ton of... See, I'd say a ton of bits. 7 bits per model is not a huge amount. But when you're building 14 guys... You know, that's quite an average. What's that? 42, 400, 4,000 pieces. So I tell you what, let's snip out some players and get building. So let's start off with a lineman. Let's move on to my favourite player in the box, on the team, in the game. Nah, there's always gutter runners, the Ulfwerener. And at 8 pieces, the most complicated piece of the kit is the Valkyrie. So let's have a go. And obviously, the most important member of the team, the Beer Boar. Okay, so let's start off with the linemen then. Right, the first thing I'm going to call out are the little circles on their backs. They're very similar. There's a couple of roundels that are almost identical in size, and you've got to be careful. They do have little divots in the back, so pick on them carefully. That was a nuisance, I'm not going to lie, but it's fine, and I don't understand why Games Workshop keep doing them. However, look at the model. Like, I have done no work trimming this up, and it was a speedy build, so things aren't lined up as well as they should, i.e. the hole in his neck. But this is awesome. The detail is brilliant, as you would expect from Games Workshop plastics. The positioning is brilliant too, and the models are wicked. So, alternate parts for this lineman alone. You've got a rock instead of that. I think he might have had an alternative fist there, and he's got a beer mug there that you can swap, and he's got an alternative head. So on your team of 14 players that you get in this box, you can build 2 very different dudes, one pointing at the sky and one raising a tankard. Now, the all-important scale test. We've got a thrower here from the nobility set, and we've got the Norse lineman. So let's line them up together, and you can see that size-wise, the Norse lineman is a little bit slighter, should we say, but that is probably because this guy's got a little bit more buff armor and this guy's wearing, well, none. But it's Games Workshop scale and height, and there's nothing wrong with the proportions of the model, which is incredibly useful. They've had a couple of inconsistent teams when it comes to scaling, so the Wood Elves are a little bit smaller and the Elven Union are a little bit bigger. Now these guys line up absolutely perfectly, so good stuff for the lineman. And now the stars of the show, the Valkyrie players. So again, they've got alternative hair, alternative face. I was a bit worried when I put that together, but actually it goes together really, really well. So pleased with that. And I think you get a choice of hands as well. I went with the ball because they've got pass, they've got catch. They're going to end up with the ball now. They do have strip ball and dauntless as well. And that just adds to the charm of these players and not really knowing what their purpose is, because you kind of get to choose their destiny. Now, Valkyrie model looking really good. Scale-wise, let's line them up with the Strength 3 player. Good to go. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit taller. Overall, yeah, a little bit more height, I'd say. But actually, the mass is perfect, and it fits in with the team really well too. And the Berserkers. So the Berserker models are very cool. They are super dynamic. They are attached to the base by one little bit of foot. So be aware of that. The arms, the legs are all separate on this model. It kind of reminds me of the Ghoul from the Necromantic team. But actually, they've got little bumpy bits that line up really well. So the model builds quite nicely. The head slots on brilliantly too. Again, watch out for the roundel. You've got to have the right roundel in the back or it won't work. I didn't, so I think I've lost one already, and I've only built 5 players, so that's on me, though. That's on me. Build them one at a time, do not clip all the pieces out, and absolutely do not build while filming. So size-wise, the Berserker is a Strength 3 player, and so is the human, the Imperial Nobility Thrower. So actually, lining them up on the pitch, the Berserker has got a little bit of height on the Thrower, but actually that's fine. This dude is meant to be a combat specialist, but it is absolutely not meant to be Strength 4. And if we line him up to my trusty tester here, the Black Orc has got a ton more presence. So actually definitely identifying that this guy is Strength 4, this guy is Strength 3. But the Ulfwereners are Strength 4. So probably one of the easiest models to build. The roundel is attached. The head's got an excellent landing point. It comes in as many pieces as everything else, but actually it's awesome. I love Ulfwereners. The stat block, brilliant. but actually these models are really, really cool. Now, these are strength 4, so what we want is to see them be bigger than the Lineman. And they're not massively bigger than the Lineman. So this is one thing I was a bit surprised about. And when we saw these team spoilers, we thought, have they changed Ulfs? Have they changed the Ulfwerener to be strength 3? Now, it's got a bit more mass than a Lineman, and if you put them next to the Berserker, you can see that the Ulfwerener has got more menace to him. Let's do the size 3 test. So strength 3, because this guy's at a crouching pose, it kind of lines up nicely. Doesn't look much bigger than a strength 3 player, so if you want your Ulfwereners to be chunky boys, then the Games Workshop one might need a bit of a raised base, and it's supposed to be strength 4, but it's actually quite a lot smaller than the Black Orc. Definitely got the height, but doesn't quite have the might. And then obviously the star of the show, the new positional, the Beer Boar. So the Beer Boar comes with 2 hats you can glue onto him, and it didn't fit brilliantly, and that's probably my fault, so you might have to be a little bit more careful when building this little dude than I was, but it's a cool little model. Now I've grabbed a Snotling, I've grabbed Trumpets from the Tootwald Tiny Titans, and I thought it'd be good to have a little size comparison. The Beer Boars, there's 2 of them in the box. They both come with 25mm bases. Everything else comes with a 32mm round, which is incredibly useful. I've only just realised that. It's not the Games Workshop Blood Bowl Slotters, which is actually a really big improvement. So size-wise, this dude is supposed to be strength 1, and he's come off his base because you've got really small glue points. So be careful when attaching the Beer Boar to a base. There's a really not a lot of area to get that glue on. Now, size-wise, he's about the same size as a Snotling, but obviously he's got a barrel on him, so he is a bit bigger too. So actually, when it comes to being on the pitch, clearly going to be size 1, way smaller than a Goblin. It's a cool little model. Okay, so we've had a look at the box, we've had a look at the players, we've had a look at the sizes. There's some great things in this team, and there's some things that actually could be a little bit better, but overall, I think this is a massive win. The redesign of the team itself is awesome. It's nice to change things up a bit. And the models and the sculpts are just brilliant. Is this my favourite Blood Bowl team yet? I don't know, it's right up there. The level of detail is what you want. Okay, there's plenty of detail, but not too much that they're not going to paint up quite quickly, which is kind of perfect. They're similar in a lot of ways to the Khorne team. They've got a lot of muscle, they've got a lot of skin areas, they've got a lot of like that brutality kind of vibe to them. Awesome. So the team's going to paint up well with dark colours and with light colours, which is actually really important. If you've got a lot of white, like a lot of large flat areas, white, yellow, light colours kind of struggle a bit. You've got a lot of option here to put a lot of detail in. The Beer Boar is cool. The multiple pieces are great. You've got to watch out for the roundels in the back. The Ulfwerener could have done with being a little bit bigger, but I'm not fussed. And the fact that they come on round bases without slotters is absolutely brilliant. That's excellent work, Games Workshop. Good job. Loads of spare pieces, loads of bits to change. Great transfers too. Absolutely a huge thumbs up for the Norse team. And I just want to say another big thank you to Entoyment for letting us grab this so that we can take it apart, glue it on, and share it with you guys. Anyway, I'm going to disappear now and read the Spike magazine, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.